And how difficult a decision was it to make?
Oh, the most difficult decision ever I made to leave, to decide to leave the club. Eventually, I mean. Possibly it was like going to the electric chair. That's the way I had the feeling. It's the greatest thing in the world, natural enthusiasm. You're nothing without it. Nothing.
Now, how can you communicate that to people?
Well, I think that if a manager is honest and he has this natural enthusiasm, I think he whilst he can't go into the field with the players, he can convey it to the players. You understand? He's with them and they're with him, and they'll be successful.
Shankly takes off his jacket to reveal a characteristic red shirt. This is the man they love. The cock cries, and Shankly responds. A great day for him. And a great day for them. And now listen to the roar as they approach the Kop. And this great communion between players and supporters, all one now, on a great day in the history of Liverpool football.
Well, I knew before I came here that the Kop was the Kop. It's expanded and it's grown world famous since then, but they've always made a noise in the Kop. Because I remember we were playing here at Anfield and there was a corner kick at the Kop end, and I said to the director, I said, look, do you hear this noise this crowd make? See? And of course they made the Liverpool were going to take the corner kick at the Kop end. The noise was fantastic, you know. And this is a great thing. And then of course it went on and on and on until we got out of the doldrums and we got into the big league and we won things, and of course it went from strength to strength.
I mean, if I had this crowd behind me when I was up there, God knows what I would have done. Jobs. They go in the cookhouse to dry about 6,000 dishes, you see, and in the latrines for to clean them out. Well, if I had a job to do, even if it was scrubbing the floor, I wanted my floor to be cleaner than yours. Now, if everybody thinks along these lines and does all the small jobs to the best of their ability, that's honesty, then the world will be better, and football will be better. So what we want is hard work, and no football club was ever successful without hard work.
The greatest motivator I've met in my life.
He made you feel like you were the best player in the world.
Made you and the team seem invincible.
He had a power of oratory that politicians would die for.
He was absolutely brilliant. You know, I don't think you'll get another man like him.
William Shankly was born in the mining village of Glenbuck, Ayrshire, in 1913. Life was hard, but the environment shaped the man.
It was a hand-to-mouth existence, but I think that really formed the great qualities of Bill Shankly, because in that very harsh environment, it forged this steely determination.
Shankly began his playing career with Partick Thistle before moving to Carlisle in 1932. He made his name at Preston, winning the FA Cup in 1938. Today, Deepdale bears his image, and at Preston, the seeds of Shankly's management career were sown.
They had 2 Tynesiders there on the staff, and he said they were years ahead of the time in training methods and how they discussed tactics and fitness, and Shanks used this in all his later career as a manager, and he always puts it down to that those days at Preston when he learned the backroom secrets.
Shankly's playing career was disrupted by the Second World War. Enlisting with the RAF, but seeing no frontline fighting, Shankly returned after the Allies' victory with his sights on management. He learnt his trade with spells at Carlisle and Grimsby. In 1955, he joined Huddersfield Town, where he nurtured talent like future England World Cup winner Ray Wilson and a Scottish striker, Dennis Law.
Bill Shankly was a mentor for me. He was the one that
sort of brought me into the game, really, and then showed me all the things that should be done as a player, etc. So he was a tremendous influence in my life, not only on the field, but off the field as well.
Shankly had suspicions the Huddersfield board did not share his ambition. Luckily, he was being watched.
Liverpool went there one day and they were ripped apart by this Huddersfield team. Huddersfield won 5-0. And the following year, when Liverpool went back there, it was then that they offered Shankly the job. And T.V. Williams, the chairman of Liverpool, he said, Bill, how would you like to be manager of the best team in the country? And Shank says, why? Has Matt Busby packed up?
He went to Liverpool and made Liverpool the team that, you know, they became. He set the foundation there to become a team. I'm just unfortunate he left Huddersfield, because I'm sure he'd have done exactly the same with Huddersfield. But his life, as I say, his life was football completely.
Shankly faced a huge challenge and set about improving all aspects of the club. Within 18 months, he'd released 24 players, bringing through striker Roger Hunt and a young winger who would go on to break the record for the number of Liverpool appearances, 17-year-old Ian Callaghan.
You'd be messing around in the corridors, you know, some of the younger lads, and he'd come out of his office and, you know, straight away you'd all right, boss, yeah, and you'd stop what you were doing, you know. It was like a respect, you know, sort of a little bit scared of him, really.
Well, I'm hard on people that need to be hard on. For people who don't need to be hard on, I'm the very opposite. So there's a balance, as you say. I mean, I think that if a man needs, who's playing in front of the public, is being well paid, and he doesn't dedicate himself to the job, I would be hard on him. If I could, I'd put him in jail. Out the road, society, because he's a menace.
In addition to promoting from within, Shankly was not afraid to spend the club's money. Ian St John came in to partner Hunt, but arguably Shankly's key signing was centre-half Ron Yates.
He said, yes, he says, we're in the first division, son. He said, and we're going to do well when we sign you, and we've signed Ian St John. So I thought, great, you know, continued. And I thought, I've just read in the paper that in the second division, I says, we are at the moment. He says, but when we sign you, he says, we'll be in the first division next season. Now, what can you say about that, you know?
I'd spoke to the pros who were there before me, and they sort of said training had changed, and, you know, they did everything with the ball since Mr. Shankly arrived. So you got the feeling that, you know, things were happening, and, you know, things were on the up.
Promotion was secured with the second division title in 1962. And 2 years later, Liverpool won the league championship for the first time since 1947.
You didn't realise it was going to be so quick, you know, how quickly it was that, you know, they went from a second division team to you know, league champions, first division league champions.
Shankly had achieved more than many thought possible in a very short space of time. But he had no doubt that Liverpool could go on to be much bigger and better, as long as everyone thought his way and pulled together for the Liverpool cause. If the club was improving in all areas, Shankly wanted more, to intimidate. The master of psychology made one very significant change. In came the famous all-red strip.
I was the dummy who had to try it on. You know, we were going to training, and he said, Ron, he said, before we go to training, I want you to put on a new kit. It's in the dressing room. So, bloody hell, I really liked it. And he went, that's it. He says, we're going to play in all red. He says, you, when you were running over there, looked like a colossus coming towards us. That's it. We're all in red. Bob, getting back for training.
It was the start of Liverpool's most successful period to date, but Shankly was desperate for more silverware. In 73 years, Liverpool had never won the FA Cup. In 1965, they faced Leeds United in the final.
I remember the build-up, obviously, you know, the clamour for tickets. The Beatles were coming through, and the football team was on the up, and so it was just a fantastic place to be, Liverpool, it was.
In the dressing room before the game, Shankly was as bullish as ever.
There's no way Leeds could beat us. This was his talk, you know, for 3 days. You know, no way they can beat us. You know, they haven't got the side. We have got the side, you know, and we'll win this. You know, and he was always confident.
Roger Hunt opened the scoring for Liverpool 3 minutes into extra time. The lead lasted only 10 minutes before a mistake from Yates led to Billy Bremner's equaliser. But another of Shankly's key signings would head the winner. Ian St John scoring with less than 10 minutes remaining. Liverpool won 2-1.
It was the first time, so, you know, to be first to pick it up from the Queen was a big moment for me. It was probably a bigger moment for Liverpool Football Club.
There were 50,000 Liverpudlians at Wembley that day, but no one was prouder than the Scot, Bill Shankly.
He was beside himself. He was just... Because, you see, he'd done what no Liverpool manager had ever done.
I couldn't believe the crowds in Liverpool when we come back with it, you know, after the game. It was just... I didn't think Liverpool had that many people in it. You know, they were out of windows, out of doors, a lot.
When you think he'd only come a little more than 5 years earlier, and there they were, they'd not only won the League Championship, now they'd won the FA Cup as well. He'd taken them into Europe. It was just amazing.
The scenes of jubilation were astonishing, but the season was far from over. The European Cup had never been won by a British team. Shankly was convinced Liverpool could be the first. The two-legged semi-final brought Inter Milan to Anfield.
Probably the greatest night of my career at Liverpool, I think, you know, for atmosphere.
It's Inter in the white shirts who kick off. Anfield so full, the gates were opened at 3 o'clock. That is 4.5 hours before the kick-off. The many parts of the standing accommodation were absolutely full before 6 o'clock. Strong. Here's number 7, Callaghan. Hunt. Goal. Great goal, a great goal by Hunt. Thompson. That's Paquetti getting in there. Oh, Yates, what have I mistaken on the centre forward? Pero. Surely a goal, Mazzola. Yes. Everyone back in defence now. Hunt, go on, Callaghan, he's done it. Strong going on his right. Hunt is onside. Yes, a great save.
Goals from Hunt, Callaghan and St John saw Liverpool run out comfortable 3-1 winners over the European champions. In Italy, however, it was a very different story. Shankly's suspicion of all things foreign began well before kick-off.
It was just like a war, you know, like the Battle of the Bulge. We were in the centre of it.
I've never known atmosphere like that, you know. It was like hatred, it really was.
The first goal against us was an indirect free kick, which he put his hand up for. Corsa chipped the ball into the net and he gave a goal. Tommy Ron flicks the ball up, he's going to... And the fella kicked it. When he did that to bounce it, he kicked it out into the net, 2-0. But I was told before the game that no matter what happened, we wouldn't win.
If Shankly loved competing in Europe, his priority never changed.
The main thing in our bread and butter is this. And that's what we want to win all the time. Never mind Europe. I'm glad I'm in Europe. It's been a great thing for Liverpool, great thing for the country. But this is our bread and butter, and this is the one that we want.
Bill Shankly. Who remembers Bill Shankly? The doer Scot. He was brilliant. Bill Shankly. Let me give you an example of one of his team talks. They were so empowering. The teams would win every single home game. One week, he was manager of Liverpool. And Liverpool playing Leicester. It's like, okay, lads, today you're playing Leicester City. Let's look at their team sheet. Say, number 1, goalkeeper, Peter Shilton. He's shite. Number 2, he's shite. 3, 4, 5, shite, shite, shite. 9, 10, 11, shite, shite, shite. Now go out there and beat them. And the team is so empowered, they would win every single home game. One week, they're playing Manchester United, 1972. He said, okay, lads, today you're playing Man U. Let's look at that team sheet. Number 1, goalkeeper, Alex Stepney. He's shite. Number 2, David Sadler. He's shite. 3, 4, 5, shite, shite, shite. Number 9, Bobby Charlton. He's a good player. Number 10, Dennis Law. He's a good player. 11, George Best. He's a good player. But bugger me, you can beat 3 players, can't you? Now go out there and beat them!
So Shanks decided we've got to fatten him up a bit, you know, give him some strength and really build him up. So they had a meeting between the staff, and they decided that they would get him to eat steaks, because Shanks was a great steak believer. You know, we ate steaks for 10 years at Liverpool, because Joe Louis ate steaks, seemingly. And Shanks loved Joe Louis, a great thing from his boxing days. So Shanks had a contact with a butcher, and every week the kid would go down the abattoir, get a big parcel of meat, all these fillet steaks, and he was eating steaks every day, eating steaks and taking them home with his mother, and she was cooking steaks. So about 6 months later, the kid knocked on Shanks' door, and, come in, son, you know, you're looking better now, John, you know, filling out, son, you know, steak's doing you good, you know. So the kid went, yeah, he said, boss, I'm getting married. Shanks went, you're getting married? He said, well, I have to get married. He said, what do you mean? He said, well, my girlfriend's pregnant. So Shanks went, Bob, Ruben, Joe, come in, we've created a monster.
The following year, the league was won again. And only defeat in the final of the Cup Winners' Cup to Borussia Dortmund stopped Liverpool from securing an unprecedented double. The fans now regarded Bill Shankly as a god.
He'd go down to the Kop, go onto the field, down to the Kop, right in front of the penalty area, and go like that, you know, and I'll tell you what, they loved him. They loved him.
He was an iconic figure. I mean, he was idolised, revered.
I headed a few out of the Cup end, you know. It was going into the net. I thought, Christ, I'll get down there. And this is true. I mean, a manager who's a manager, and his players are honest with him, and he's honest with them. He can transmit his thoughts to them. And I'm certain I've headed some balls that were going into the net. I've kept them out. Yeah. And I've scored a few goals as well. Yeah. So that I've willed somebody to do something, and I've done it.
The 1966 League Championship was Liverpool's last trophy for 7 years. Shankly stayed loyal to an ageing group of players, and the club paid the price.
It was only after the Watford debacle, when Watford, from the depths of the second division, knocked them out of the FA Cup, that Shankly realised this team had to be broken up. But Bob Paisley reckoned he should really have been more ruthless and done it a bit earlier, because the players were getting past their best.
Finally, Shankly set about rebuilding. Out went the likes of Yates, Hunt and St John. In came John Toshak, Ray Clements, and a young Liverpudlian, 17-year-old Phil Thompson.
You were in awe of the man, absolutely in awe. But to meet him was just as thrilling. You know, you just listen to that voice. You know, there was just something special about it. You know, signing for Liverpool at the age of 15, apprenticeship till 17, you know, that was just fantastic. For me, 2 years doing that, I'd have died happy.
It wasn't about money, it was about playing for Liverpool Football Club and how much he knew about Liverpool Football Club. Before we even sat down for a contract, he made sure he took me around everywhere around Anfield, took me down to the training ground, showed me the training facilities, just to impress on me how good this football club was and how great it could be.
It was ready to become a powerhouse, because Shanks had everybody believing in it. Shanks was one of those characters to the press and everybody else that he was making, and he was drumming it into pressmen how good we were.
We went to the 71 Cup final in the first instance, that was the first sight of glory we'd had with the new side. But probably it was just a little bit early for us. We had a lot of young players in there who Shanks has brought in to make his new team as such. And but we gained confidence from actually being a young team and getting to that cup final, and it just built from there.
After losing the FA Cup final to Arsenal, Shankly stood on the steps of St George's Hall with this incredible crowd. He said, "Yesterday we lost the battle, but we did not lose the war."
Since I come here to Liverpool, or to Anfield, time and again, that they are privileged to play for you. And if they didn't believe me, they believe me now.
And Peter Robinson, who was a very urbane, efficient General Secretary of Liverpool, said if he had told them at that moment to storm through the Mersey Tunnel and sack Birkenhead, they'd have done it. He had them utterly under his command and control. They would have done anything.
Natural enthusiasm, that's the whole thing. It's the greatest thing in the world, natural enthusiasm. Yeah. You're nothing without it.
Shankly's new team needed a star, and Kevin Keegan from Scunthorpe fitted the mould. Keegan's partnership with Toshack flourished, as did the style of play. Having just missed out on the league title in 1972, the following year saw the trophy return to Anfield for the first time in 7 years.
You say the Dutch gave total football, to the world. I think Liverpool FC, certainly we did at that time. We used to be passing it at the ball about. Nobody could get a kick.
73 was just the start of an era that, turned trophy after trophy after trophy. And, once you start winning, it's a lovely feeling and you get used to it.
Last Saturday was the greatest of all of them. Winning it early on was a novelty. But last Saturday, because it was a new team, and we had worked so hard for so long and got pipped last season, and pipped the season before in the cup final, that we had gone again for the third time, with far more satisfaction, and definitely the greatest moment I had in football.
It was the beginning of one of the longest periods of success ever seen in English football. Europe was yet to be conquered, but in 1973 Liverpool faced Borussia Mönchengladbach in the UEFA Cup final. Anfield revelled in one of its greatest European nights.
We won the game quite comfortably, 3-0. And but having said that, we're probably about 15 minutes to go, something like that. Stevie Highway came back to defend, but he pulled down one of the Borussia Mönchengladbach players, and obviously a penalty was given. Jupp Heynckes, the German striker, took it, and I managed to save it.
That penalty save proved crucial. Liverpool fell behind at 2-0 in the second leg. But the Reds held on, and Bill Shankly had achieved his dream to become the first Liverpool manager to win a European trophy.
He wasn't a champagne drinker or anything like that. He stood in the dressing room with his cup of tea and said, "Well done" to everybody, and that's the way he was.
A year later, Liverpool were back at Wembley for Shankly's third FA Cup final. Standing in their way were Newcastle United and their danger man, striker Malcolm McDonald.
Malcolm McDonald, the Newcastle centre-forward, was in the papers virtually every day saying what he was going to do and what Newcastle were going to do to us.
He was shouting the odds of what he was going to do and how he was going to sort of tear Liverpool apart, particularly Edmund Hughes and Phil Thompson.
Of course, Shank's team talk beforehand is, "I don't really need to speak, you've seen the papers, let's just go out and prove them wrong." And we put on the most complete FA Cup final performance for many years.
2 goals from Keegan and 1 from Steve Highway meant a comprehensive 3-0 win for Liverpool. And another Wembley fairy tale. Shankly had now won 3 league titles, 2 FA Cups and a UEFA Cup. He had also built a young, hungry team desperate for success. The future looked bright for Liverpool. But just 2 months after that Wembley triumph, the club was rocked to its very core.
It is with great regret that Mr. Shankly has intimated that he wishes to retire from active participation in league football.
How do you feel about the news today?
What's news?
That Shankly's retired. What? How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
Kidding you, know? He's not. I'm not kidding you. Shankly has actually retired today. He wants a rest. He's leaving. He's leaving.
Really?
He's leaving Liverpool. The supporters will retire as well.
Yeah.
I'm deadly serious. He wants a rest. He's getting out of the game.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Is he sick? He must be sick. He's not sick. No, he says he gets very tired. The pressures are great. He wants a rest.
Well, this is not on the paper. No papers.
No, it was announced at 12 o'clock.
On the wireless?
On the wireless at 12 o'clock. I've just been at a press conference where he announces he was finishing. Is that true? It's true. I swear it's the truth. Honestly, I'm not joking with you, really.
When did he retire?
Today, he retired. He's finished today.
Terrible. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Bill Shankly's retired. Is he? He's finished.
It's a bit of a shock to me.
How do you feel?
Terrible.
You're having me on, aren't you?
No, I'm not having you. I've just been to Anfield, honest.
Who said?
He said, he just announced it at lunchtime today and the board were with him.
Bill Shankly?
Bill Shankly is retired. What did Shankly mean to you?
Everything.
And how difficult a decision was it to make?
Oh, the most difficult decision ever I made to leave, to decide to leave the club. Eventually, I mean. Possibly it was like going to the electric chair. That's the way I had to feel about it. I'm jealous when you get the coffin. You put the lid down, your name's in the top.
I hope it's a long time before they start thinking about that.
It's the stupidest word I've ever heard in all my life. There you are. Nobody can retire. I mean, what's happened in Russia?